So I'm in a new hospital and I'm lying in bed, and a new surgeon and a new team of residents come into my hospital room. And he introduces himself and he says, "We got to take you back for another surgery." And I was like, "No, we can't do that because 5 weeks ago I had surgery to remove an ovary. And then 2.5 weeks ago, I had another surgery to remove infection from the first surgery. And now 6 weeks later, I'm not good at math. You're telling me that I need another surgery. This can't be." And I'm getting upset, and he's noticing I'm getting emotional because I'm getting emotional. And he says, "Listen, this is where we are." It was very direct. "We are either going to have to cut you open, where we leave you open, your whole abdominal, and you stay in the ICU for however long, or we can open you up down the center, and then you can have a colostomy bag." And I'm like, these options fucking suck. Like, do you have any more? And he's like, "Well, this is where we are." I guess that was his fork in the road. I have to tie this story to the theme. So he walks out, and I just start to sob in my hospital bed, and I'm sitting up, and I'm just crying and crying because I'm like, all right, I don't think I can do a third surgery. Am I going to live long enough to see my son, grow up? I'm out of my mind. And just then, this lady shows up in my doorway with a guitar, and she's like, "Hey, is this a good time?" And I'm like, "No, it's not, but sure, come on in," because I didn't want to be rude. So she asks me if she wants me to hear a song, and I'm like, "Read the room, lady." Like, no, but I people pleaser. So she starts playing me a song, and I never stopped crying. So for 4.5 minutes, I'm like, and she's just like playing. 4.5 minutes doesn't sound long, but I promise you it is, especially if you think you're gonna die, because you want to spend like the last minutes of your life not doing that. So she finishes up her song, and then a priest shows up, Catholic priest. And I'm like, "Why are you here, sir?" And he's like, "You requested me when you first got here." And I was like, doesn't sound like me, but drugs, right? So I requested him, and I'm figuring he's there to read my last rites. And so he starts to pray over me, another 4.5 minutes. And then I realize I'm at a fork in the road. That's the second time I used that. It's 2 times. And I'm like, all right, well, either I'm going to be in the ICU or I'm going to end up with a colostomy bag, which to me was like as good as dead, because I remember for years going, "Oh man, I could not live with a colostomy bag. That sounds horrible." Yeah, oof. And I kind of let go, and I was like, whatever is going to be is going to be. This is it. There's nothing I can do. It's out of my hands. So I wake up the next morning, and I look under the covers, and I must have still like had my sense of humor, because I asked to speak to a manager like immediately when I saw the colostomy bag. And then I realized, like, this is what it is. And I can't emphasize enough how bad for the brand having a colostomy bag is. But thank you, Jamie. But I do realize that I manifested it in one way or another. I did ask for a bag in 2025. I meant money. That's what the kids say. They want a bag. I meant money. I did not mean a colostomy bag. I do not know how the universe confuses that. And yeah, I love you all. Thank you.